Happy! Hey, please pay attention to this rugby update. It will be in your exams. Danny, sit. Whew. And so, the long night for the Aussie teams is over. Super Rugby Trans-Tasman's group stages is done and the Blues will be facing the Highlanders in the final. So, let's start on Friday when the Hurricanes smashed the disappointing Reds and put themselves in contention for the final. Harry Wilson of the Reds was still playing on a level so far above his teammates that he looked like he was there alone. He might still become a Wallaby legend. Unfortunately, one man does not a rugby team make. For the Hurricanes, rookie fly half and cool name haver Ruben Love played pretty well and had a few good touches. But the night was all about always pissed off Nani Laumape. He was playing his farewell match in New Zealand and he made it count. A lot of people say Laumape was always snubbed by the All Blacks, but I wouldn't pick him either. I'd rather have a Leonard Brown-Goodhue situation. Next game, the Highlanders did what the Hurricanes could not and they bashed the Brumbies in Canberra. That put them well and truly in the running to make the final. Aaron Smith did everything that was needed and marshalled his team around the field and to victory. 2 tries later for Mr. Smith and the late season surge was complete. The Highlanders had made it to the final and will face the Blues in Auckland next week. Now, before that was finalized, Saturday brought the big game of the weekend, Crusaders versus Rebels. The equation was not so simple. The Crusaders had to beat the Rebels with a bonus point and a points difference big enough to overtake the Highlanders on the log. The Rebels just had to stop being inept long enough to prevent that. It's safe to say most people were rooting for them, and in the end, they did it. They got annihilated, 26 points to 52. Woohoo! Yes! The Crusaders needed to win by 33 points. They only won by 26, which means they did not make the final. As always, the Crusaders played like the rugby bastards that they are, seemingly scoring at will and without much effort. But I think they might have chucked it around a bit too much, which led to the Rebels scoring some points of their own, narrowing that points margin. Now, I don't want to be too mean. It's the end of an incredible run for the Crusaders. Since 2017, they have featured in every single Super Rugby final, doesn't matter what form it took, and won them all. A big congrats to this legendary squad of Crusaders. But I think the entire rugby world is happy to have a final that does not feature them for once. The Blues just had to beat the Force to make the final, and they did it. Their back row of Sututu, Robinson, and Papali'i is crazy. And then they have Akira Ioane on the bench to come on later. It is pretty tough to beat. Sututu in particular played very well over the weekend, which would please the All Black selectors. It's nice to see he's maturing. The final match of the thing was between the Chiefs and the Waratahs. Guess how it ended? You're right. 7 points to the Waratahs, 40 points to the Chiefs. The season could not end quick enough for the poor Sydney-siders. That's 13 losses in a row. The Chiefs decided to add insult to injury and help their winger Sean Wainui score 5 tries in a single match, a new record, just to be really mean about it, you know? And that was the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman group stages. Not so much a competition as a combine harvester running through a field of ripe wheat, if that's how you would say it. I know nothing about farming. What's the takeaway? Well, the New Zealand clubs are still a bunch of inhuman monsters, born and bred to play ruthless and beautiful rugby. The Aussie clubs are not. The best thing for the Aussie clubs is that they now know what the standard should be, and they have the rest of the year to get there. If I was an Aussie coach, I would be adding every New Zealand coach I can to a Zoom call to try and get some tips and guidance to improve the rugby. Take that pain and use it. Channel it into becoming better at rugby. Time and hard work is what's needed now. Also, go the Blues. Win this comp and make me happy. Rainbow Cup. Lions versus Stormers got cancelled and the points got awarded to the Stormers because the Lions breached protocol. And as a Lions fan, how do I feel? Yep, sounds about right. In the other much more important match, the Bulls and the Sharks were having it out to see who could play against Benetton in the final in Treviso. And the Bulls did what they do. Squeeze and squeeze until you can't breathe anymore and then win. In the match, Cornell Hendricks again played like a beast and I hope he does get to play in the Lions series in some form. The Bulls forwards also did exactly what they are genetically engineered to do. Bliksem alles. Jake White's team now carries South Africa's hopes north to Treviso to take on that legendary side, Benetton. I heard they're unbeaten. Other big news that came out just this afternoon is that the professional rugby landscape for South Africa, Ireland, Wales, Scotland and Italy will be changing forever. or as long as the contract lasts. Collectively, they announced a new competition today, the United Rugby Championship. A 2-hemisphere, 4-conference, 5-country, 16-team, 18-round rugby bonanza. The numbers are there. This competition has teams from the current Six Nations champions, the current Rugby Championship champions, the current World champions, and the soon-to-be crowned Rainbow Cup champions. It's a who's who of prestigious rugby clubs, and I cannot wait for it to start in September. The branding looks sick, the hype trailer was a banger, and the format looks mostly balanced. Mostly. The only issue now, their fucking website is not secure. Do not join their mailing list. HTTP in 2021? Really? I am very excited for this new era of rugby. Can't wait for it to start. And that's the rugby update for this week. Please don't let any Springboks make the Premiership final. They should be in Bloom training. Bye. Bye.